Hello and welcome to 2 Car Pros. Today we're going to show you how to diagnose and repair your air conditioning system. Before we begin, we're going to need to know the basics of automotive air conditioning. When looking under the hood at your car's air conditioner, it might seem complicated, but it's not. Once you know how it delivers cold air, you'll be able to see that it's really quite simple. Your heater core and air conditioner HVAC does 3 jobs: cool the interior of the car, heat up the interior, and defrost the windshield. All 3 modes work together as a complete system. The climate control system is controlled by a main computer, which houses the controls for the system and sits in the dash in most cases. This computer gives commands to the compressor to start pressurizing the refrigerant, along with the blend door actuators, which direct airflow from the floor, mid, and defrost vents. These air door actuators also control the air temperature by mixing the hot air from the heater core and the cold air from the AC. When one part of the system fails to operate, like the air conditioner, then one part of the system starts working, in this case, the cold air. The AC system has 4 basic parts: a compressor, which is powered by the engine using a serpentine belt. On hybrid cars, the compressor is electronically powered and does the same operation. A condenser, which is located in the front of the engine radiator and cools the refrigerant from the compressor before it heads to the evaporator inside the vehicle. This is where the high-pressure liquid is released into the evaporator as a low-pressure gas and where the coldness is created. The blower motor then circulates the air throughout the interior. Before we get started with repairing our air conditioning system, we are going to have the car on level ground with the transmission in park and the emergency brake set. The engine should be off but warm. Wear safety goggles and gloves to protect against any injury. Never loosen or undo any hoses or fitting before discharging the system of refrigerant. The system does contain a slight amount of oil which can be expelled while discharging. If air is not blowing from the vents, it is not a problem of the refrigerant recycling system, also known as AC, and can be attributed to the blower motor or vent control actuator. Here's how to tell which. Start the engine and turn on the air conditioner. Next, move the fan setting from the highest to the lowest. If you can hear nothing, it is a problem with the blower fan. If you can hear the fan but no air is forced through the vents, or if the air is being generated from the wrong vents, it's an actuator problem. Now, if air is blowing from the correct vents but it is not cold, continue with this video. When the air conditioner is switched on, 3 things begin to happen. The compressor, blower motor, and vent actuators all receive an electrical signal to turn on. This causes the compressor clutch to engage while working the internal parts of the compressor pump. This pumping action compresses the refrigerant so it can circulate around the system. The followed troubleshooting steps are presented in order of popularity. Step 1. Check the AC system charge. As your vehicle ages, the refrigerant level should be maintained and added to ensuring the system stays full. Because the system is pressurized, kind of like a tire, it'll need to be recharged as it ages. Just recharging the system is not difficult and can be done in about 20 minutes. If the system is low, then you can recharge and monitor how long the charge lasts. If the system lasts up to 6 months, then another recharge might outweigh repairing the system, which you can do for about $35 yourself. A sign of a system being low on charge is that it will produce white vapor from the vents, much like your home freezer. This is because the pressure drop inside the evaporator is too excessive, causing it to ice up. Recharging the AC will fix this problem. Now, to check the system's state of charge, connect a gauge or charge kit to the low side hose service port to read the static pressure. This will show pressure in the system. If the system is flat, there's a refrigerant leak that must be discovered and repaired before recharging the system. If the engine is overheating or low on coolant, the air conditioner will be weak or not work at all. If you've been driving for some time and you notice the system stops working, the first thing to check is the engine temperature gauge or warning light. Now, this is how you connect a gauge or charge kit to the low side port of your air conditioning service tube. Always remember that blue goes on the low side, red goes on the high side. If the system is full and the static pressure with the engine off is between 70 and 90 psi, then continue with this video. If everything from step 1 checks out, you're going to need to move on to step 2, checking the compressor operation. In this video, the engine is running but the clutch is not engaged. With the system on, this can mean one of 2 things. First, the system is low on charge, so the compressor will not turn via a pressure switch located somewhere on the low pressure side of the system. Or there is an electrical problem of some kind, such as a blown fuse, relay, and clutch management coil, or climate control computer has been shorted. If you turn the air conditioner on and there's a loud screeching noise, the compressor is locked up and needs a replacement. Before we keep going, there's an additional style of compressor that are found on German cars such as BMWs, Mercedes, and Volkswagens, which do not have a clutch. One of these compressors is featured on this video here, where there's no clutch and no wires to the activation coil. As you can see, the portion of the pulley hub assembly where the clutch would be is located directly bolted to the input shaft of the compressor. These compressors have an internal valve which is located at the rear of the compressor to begin the process when activated. For these cars, there will be one variable in testing which we will cover further in this video. On clutch-style compressors with the system on and the set to the coldest setting and highest fan speed, locate the compressor. Using a flashlight, inspect the clutch operation. It will be doing one of two things. First, it'll be cycling on and off, which means the system is low on charge, or the condenser fan is not operating, or there's a blockage in the expansion or orifice tube. If the clutch is doing nothing, then it's time to connect a gauge or charge kit to see if the system is completely flat or super low on charge. When the system is low or overcharged, a pressure switch tells the compressor when to shut down to avoid damage. On internal valve compressors, also known as the German ones, you must use a test light to see if the signal wire is getting power or not. This style of system does not cycle when it's low, it just shuts down, so it's best to check these systems' charge. Step number 3, check the condenser fan. Start the engine and set the air conditioner to its coldest setting. The first thing to look for in the AC condenser fan being on is this fan should turn on within a minute of the AC system being switched on. If this fan is not on, then this is a problem that must be checked out. If the vehicle is rear-wheel drive and has a mechanical fan, look to see if it's freewheeling, which is an indication of the fan clutch being bad and needing a replacement. The condenser must have air being pulled or pushed through it for the system to work. Step number 4, check the climate control electrical system. Observe the climate control panel to see if there are any lights that are blinking, which indicates there's some kind of failure in which a code must be read. Each method of retrieving these codes is different to each manufacturer. These codes will guide you to the circuit or system that is having a problem. If everything looks okay in the panel or the panel lights are out completely, please continue with the video guide. Locate the car's fuse panel under the dash or power distribution center under the hood. Using a test light, check all related fuses such as the BCM, climate control, heater, blower motor, and for the air conditioner. You can use your car's owner's manual to help locate these fuses, or you can go to 2carpros.com and ask our mechanics for help, all for free. If the new fuse blows once it's been replaced, there's a short in the system. Most of the time, the short can be related to the compressor clutch coil, in which case it needs to be replaced. If all related fuses are okay, the next part in the system that has a high failure rate is the AC relay. This relay supplies main power to the compressor via the system fuse. Locate the relay in the fuse panel or power distribution center using the owner's manual. Once located, check the terminals of the relay for power and ground, and then replace the relay to check the system. You can swap this relay for a similar one in the car, such as power windows or door locks, to test it. Many of these relays are the same. A pressure sensor is used to measure the amount of refrigerant in the system. When the sensor goes bad, the compressor will not turn on. To test this sensor, remove the wiring connector and insert a jumper wire between the two terminals of the connector. If the compressor turns on, the sensor is bad or the system is low or overcharged. If nothing happens, use a test light to see if there's 12 volts at one of the wires. If no power is present, suspect the climate control computer is bad. If you performed all these tests and the system is still not working, a pin-to-pin voltage and continuity check is in order. This test sounds harder than it is. Using a wiring diagram for your car, you basically are required to test each wire for power or ground and then continuity to make sure each wire is fully connected. Tree leaves, plastic bags, and dirt can be lodged in the condenser, hindering the system's performance. Remove any obstructions such as plastic bags from the condenser area. Also, use a garden hose to clean the condenser with a high-pressure nozzle from time to time. This works really well and helps the air condenser work more efficiently. The compressor is the main mechanical part of the system, which is driven by the engine serpentine belt. This belt should be in good working order, and replace it if it's worn. If repairs have been made, the system will need to be vacuumed down and recharged to remove any damage causing moisture. If you don't vacuum down the system, the AC will not be as cold because of the air that's trapped inside the system once it has been opened. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you at all, please give it a like. And if you have any questions, please stop by twocarpros.com and ask a free question.